A trip to my aunt's house in the Baden-Württemberg region of southwestern Germany, where the expansive Schwarzwald mountain range stretches out to the horizon, was an occasion that I had the chance to take advantage of. Hunting wild boar was the primary purpose of my trip. It was not merely a vacation. The invasive species has been steadily increasing its strength, and it has been targeting properties owned by farmers, including the property that belongs to my aunt, which has sustained significant damage. It was my cousin who took me to the gathering spot in the village, where I had the opportunity to meet other hunters with more expertise. The hunt was broken up into different parties. I remained vigilant at specified spots a few hundred meters distant from him, waiting for the wild boar to either show up or be driven away by the hounds. After waiting for perhaps 10 minutes, I was able to hear the wild boar squealing in the bushes more clearly than ever before. The beat of my heart began to beat. In spite of the fact that I had participated in dozens of hunts, standing about waiting was always a source of anxiety for me. Each hunt was unique because there was no repetition of any of the activities. As something began to charge out of the bushes, they began to shake. The wild boar was enormous in size. As it charged directly at me, I instinctively fired my weapon without giving it any second thought. Instantaneously, the wild boar was put to death. Following the successful hunt of the wild boar, we were unable to take any time to rejoice. A second wild boar materialized out of nowhere and charged in my direction. I was unable to fire. While it was about to attack us, the wild boar dropped to the ground. When a few minutes had passed, there was once again complete silence. A peculiar odor was produced when the scent of gunpowder was combined with the fragrance of the air in the mountains and forests. It was charged with fervor, vivacious, and extremely wild. I had just finished resting when I heard his voice reverberating through the radio at approximately 10 o'clock, when the sun was shining brightly everywhere. Currently, I am being approached by a wild boar that is quite enormous. We are getting ready. Instantaneously, I got up, kept my grasp on my weapon, and waited. An additional enormous wild boar materialized. It sped by me without recognizing that the threat was becoming closer behind it. When I was in the ideal position, I raised my weapon and proceeded to shoot it down. An explosion of gunfire ripped across the calm air. It only took a fraction of a second to eliminate the wild boar. We decided to take a break and move to a creek around noon. In addition, he mentioned that wild boars required water. Quite a few of them would relocate to this region. In point of fact, it did not take all that much time for a wild boar to charge in, and just like the ones who came before it, it was unable to avoid its certain destruction. This mountainous region encompasses a fairly broad area. Wild boars can also be found in this area. All of the wild boars that are seen are of a very enormous size. This could be due to the fact that they are not hunted very often and have a lot of food sources available to them, which causes them to develop extremely quickly. In addition, it appears that a significant number of wild boars in this region are not afraid of people. The fact that they do not fear hunters may be due to the fact that there are not many large-scale hunting organizations in this region, and the fact that hunting activities are restricted in this region. Nevertheless, in order to guarantee my safety, he cautioned me to refrain from firing when the target was not visible to the naked eye. In the opposite direction of the encirclement, you should not fire your weapon. Additionally, keep in mind that our mission is to preserve the forest, not to kill indiscriminately. When I am confronted with wild boars that have the intention of attacking, I maintain my composure and only fire when I am certain that I will hit the target. Because it brings down the wild boar in a swift and painless manner, this proves to be true each and every time I go hunting. Additionally, it demonstrates a regard for the natural world. When the afternoon was winding down, we made our way north, where there were deep ravines and a large number of wild boars. The terrain was more rugged here, and the trees were taller, which made it more difficult for us to see, so we had to keep a close eye out for any signs of wild boars. As soon as they surfaced, we collaborated in order to eliminate each of them individually. Hunting is not merely a competition or a pastime for us. Rather, it is a way of life. As a means of protecting the equilibrium of the forest, which is an environment that I like as much as my own family, I do this. Not only is each shot evaluated for its accuracy, but also for its ethical and responsible implications respectively. It is possible that I will return to the forest tomorrow, or perhaps it will be in a few weeks. But there is one thing that I am certain of. On each occasion that I do so, I will not only be a hunter, but I will also be a protector of the life that exists within this cherished mountain forest. Finally, before the hunting excursion came to a conclusion, we gathered all of the things that we had found. Before everything was brought back to the village for processing, everything was initially marked, registered, and examined to ensure that it was in good health. The trip has come to an end. If you want to see more of our videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. In spite of the fact that darkness is gradually falling, this location does not fall into its customary silence. There has been a reappearance of the monsters, who are now like enormous wild boars that are destroying everything in their path. There is no more room for us to exercise patience. In a hurry, we gathered together, having our weapons prepared and our nerves tense. A fight that will leave you gasping for air is about to take place. Now is the time to watch this tremendous conflict that has never been seen before. Wild boars are not only becoming more numerous, but they are also beginning to exhibit more aggressive behavior. The destruction of crops is no longer their only activity. They are also eager to harm people. A wild boar caused the death of a hunter who was 77 years old in Italy in 2019. The hunter was killed while he was hunting. Without giving him any prior notice, the beast charged out of the underbrush and attacked him abruptly. It is imperative that those of us who are going to engage in hunts like these always remember to exercise extreme caution, as this story serves as a sharp reminder. It is impossible to predict what will take place in the wide wilderness where these monster beasts live. We had just arrived and taken our positions when all of a sudden a wild boar raced down the mountain. Although it made an attempt to flee, I was able to fire the trigger in time because to my lightning-fast reflexes. The sound of the gunshot reverberated, and instantaneously the shadowy figure fell to the ground, immobile amid the wide jungle. Following the achievement of our initial victory, I made my way towards my fellow soldiers in order to continue the tough conflict. The unrelenting barking of dogs and the outraged growls of wild boars reverberated from a distance, creating a cacophony of sounds that blended together. A gunshot was heard all of a sudden, yet the injured boar did not run away from the situation. The creature became completely insane and ran away in an effort to get away from the encirclement. As a result of the unrelenting pressure exerted by the hunting dogs and our close formation, the wild boars got agitated and bewildered. There was a barrage of gunfire coming from every direction, and the monsters fell one by one. In the midst of a thrilling hunt that was riveting till the very last second of the day, our crew burst into tears of joy. We proceeded in the direction of another hill after receiving direction from a villager. We rapidly cut off every conceivable escape route for the boars by spreading out along the mild slopes and preventing them from escaping. It was from my vantage point that I was able to see a wild boar running directly in front of me. A lightning-fast blow was carried out. One shot from the gun was all that was required to bring the boar down in an instant. The sound of dogs barking in the distance was an indication that the prey was getting closer. Instantaneously, I assumed my position and got ready for the actual shooting. The canines pursued the wild boar with unrelenting determination, which resulted in the animal being placed in a precarious position. 2 definitive shots put an end to any prospect of escape, despite the fact that it desperately turned back and searched for a way out. Gunshots continued to reverberate in other locations. Every shot that was well aimed resulted in another pig being killed. An extremely effective pursuit was indicated by the presence of dark figures of varying sizes, ranging from smaller juveniles to enormous adults, which were dispersed around the hunting site. We got off to a fantastic start, which got the entire squad thrilled as we continued to climb higher and higher atop the hill. From the vantage point of the hillside, we glimpsed shadowy people racing through the canopy of trees. There was no sign of panic on their faces. Instead, they were making their way toward the crest of the mountain, where the thick forest could act as a natural screen as they approached. In the event that we make a single mistake, the entire herd can vanish from our attention. We did not rush into pressing the trigger. Rather, we remained in our places, ready to do so. I was startled when I saw a wild boar charging directly in front of me. Immediately, I shot my weapon, bringing it to an end without any hesitation. After the wild boars became more agitated, they turned around and dispersed in every direction. However, we were prepared for this time. My friends moved quickly to tighten the perimeter of the area. The sound of gunfire reverberated throughout the huge jungle as it burst in rapid succession. This was the most exciting part of the hunt that had yet to come. A further pursuit that was causing the heart to race was taking place on the opposite side of the hill. The yells of delight that the hunters made brought back memories of the pounding of their hearts. Every single person was unwaveringly concentrated, resolute not to miss a single shot and to ensure that no prey was able to escape. Guns were raised and their sights were fixed on their targets. They were determined to bring triumph home. As each second went by, the hunt got even more intense than it had been before. Our efforts had been successful in protecting the inhabitants, preserving the crops, and ensuring the safety of the community. In addition, I was aware that regardless of how difficult the obstacles that lay ahead were, we would always be prepared to confront them and fight for what was right. I am grateful to each and every one of you for following this trip. In order to show your support for the channel, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. My family and I get a chill whenever it gets dark outside because we hear strange sounds coming from deep within the forest. The sounds you hear are those of wild boars, which are unwelcome vandals that are continually ruining the small garden that my family has. I have a few pals who are planning to go hunting with me tonight in a nearby wild valley. We are going to go at night. When we go on this hunting excursion, what do we want to gain? Come with me on this voyage that is both dramatic and insane. Over the course of the late afternoon, we made our way into the valley by way of a narrow dirt road that was littered with pebbles and gravel. There was a roadblock caused by the rain last night, which made the voyage more challenging. The landscape that lay in front of us was serene, consisting of verdant fields and herds of zebras and ostriches going about their business in search of food. Over time, the sky became even darker. The heavy air appeared to be an indication that a thunderstorm was on its way. On the other hand, this did not deter us from our resolve. It was not until approximately 7:30 o'clock in the evening that the dense darkness enveloped the forest. It was then that the first wild boars appeared. They had a thick, dark gray fur and a trademark long nose, and they were always on the lookout for weird noises going on around them. They were of very remarkable size. In the midst of the blizzard rain, we remained silent as we observed the pigs approach the trap and begin their milking process with caution. While I waited for the appropriate opportunity, I went ahead and opened fire on the pig that was in the most advantageous position. The fear caused by the gunfire caused the pigs to disperse in all directions. Without delay, we made the necessary adjustments to our firearms and proceeded to continue our search for targets in the surrounding woodland. Another pig emerged from the bushes in a low and stealthy manner. The trigger was pulled by me. The gunfire caused it to fall to the ground immediately. The hunt had a lot of exciting moments this evening. Because of the rain, things became more challenging. Nevertheless, we did not give up, resolute in our pursuit of the prey that had come within our line of sight. It was a fortunate turn of events that the rain ceased immediately, leaving the air cool and silent. We made the decision to relocate to a different area, which was a huge grassland in the vicinity. A serene image was created by the herd of cows in the middle of the night when it was completely dark outside. Nevertheless, not too much longer after that, we made an unexpected discovery. Observed it, did you? There were not just one, but a large number of enormous wild boars standing in close proximity to the herds of cows. Wild boars can weigh up to 200 kilograms, and despite their vicious character, they are not hesitant to confront other species. They are also known to be aggressive. After aiming for the wild boar that was the largest, I gripped the gun strongly and fired the trigger. I then proceeded to kill the other pigs one by one. At each and every shot, we were required to concentrate on firing precisely in order to eliminate as many pigs as possible. When pigs were crowded together, they were anxious and fled away, which made it more difficult to aim. Concurrently, we had to exercise extreme caution so that we did not unintentionally shoot the herd of cows. The ground was covered with shot pigs, which were dispersed all over the place after the hunt came to a conclusion. We swiftly gathered the treasures and arranged ourselves in a queue to take inventory. Despite the fact that we had killed a significant number of pigs, the number of pigs that managed to escape was still quite high, which caused us to feel regret. Our objective was not to stop there. We were resolved to hunt wild boars of a larger size. While we were seeking for prey, we climbed onto the truck bed and looked out into the distance. An example of one of the weapons that I had meticulously developed was a loudspeaker that produced a particularly distinctive sound. The pigs were not only intrigued by the genuine sound that emanated from the loudspeaker, but it also drew them in closer. Behold, in our direction a wild boar was rapidly moving across the grass and wagging its tail. It was enormous, with dark skin and fur, and its eyes shone red in the light, despite the fact that it appeared to be a little worn out. It continued to move closer to us because it was curious about us. The first shot was fired when it was inside the proper distance, and I aimed it directly at its head from the beginning. In spite of this, the wild boar did not topple over. Immediately after the first shot, the second and third bullets were fired. Despite my efforts, I persevered and attempted to flee. It wasn't until the sixth shot that I was able to entirely exclude the prey from the list of opportunities. Exciting things happened to us as a result of the war's gains. It seems that this hunting attempt was more successful than anticipated, as not only the loudness, but also the light from the headlights attracted a greater number of pigs. We proceeded to ambush, and we were successful in eliminating a couple more of them, all of whom were drawn to the noises that I made. For me, this was a night hunting experience that was genuinely unlike anything else I had ever experienced. Despite the fact that it was late in the evening, we continued to try to ambush wild boars with the intention of killing a few more of them. These enormous black shadows were wandering over the field at a leisurely pace, and they came into our line of sight by chance. As soon as I had aimed at a target, I immediately began firing my weapon. The booming gunshots caused the pigs to flee in fear, and they were able to escape. Our group of hunters, on the other hand, did not allow them to disappear. When we were all trying to take down an entire herd of pigs, we all adjusted our firearms with tears in our eyes. We were able to kill a significant number of enormous pigs thanks to the precision shots, which was a really successful accomplishment. Over the course of a peaceful evening, we put in a lot of effort to eliminate the pigs, which helped to reduce the amount of harm they brought to the rural farmers in the region. Nevertheless, as the night progressed into the late hours, tiredness began to set in. It dawned on us that it was time to call it quits on the search. The sound of gunshots gradually began to drift away, and it's possible that the pigs were too terrified to return. We were able to bring the delight of a good night of hunting to us by the end of the hunt, which revealed a proud result. At that moment, the last gunshots were heard, and the countryside went back to its regular state of seclusion. Our dedication and ability to work together as a team allowed us to attain our objective in spite of the obstacles and hurdles we faced. It was an experience that stayed with me forever. The night was crazy but great. I am grateful that you have followed, and I hope to see you on the next voyage.